Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity that you have given me to give my story to the engineering fraternity and the general public. My name is Engineer Ezekiel Fukwo Wafula. I'm a professional engineer with 20 years industry experience with the registration of 15 years as a professional engineer. I started my journey way back when I was a small man at Rescos Primary School, where after I finished primary school here in Nairobi, I went to Starehe Boys, and coincidentally, perhaps just to let the members of public know, I might be the only engineer who has been able to be born, raised, schooled, gone to the both primary and secondary, together with the university, and also worked within a radius of at most 10 kilometers. Let me bring it into context. The first primary school that I went was called New Pumwani. Then I was transferred when I was in standard 3 to a school called Rescos Primary, which was just still within the neck of the wood of that same primary school. And after that, Rescos Primary School, I went to Starehe Boys Center, whereby Starehe borders Rescos coincidentally. We were shared the same fence. I recall even when we were in primary school, at times when we play football, we could kick a ball until it goes to Starehe, and we could peep through the fence and ask students on the other side to throw us back the ball. So I just crossed the fence, went to Starehe, spent there 4 years, and my journey, I can say, to be an engineer started when I was in that high school. I recall in our school, anybody who has gone to Starehe can see that it is separated. It has two sides. There is a flyover. So there is one side that has some classes, upper secondary school, and then there is the lower one. So we could juggle between the two places. So one day as we were passing around, there was some ones which were going up around there with an excavator. Somebody was using an excavator. I believe it was a nation guy. And I was so fascinated by how the guy looked in the regalia, the way they had dressed, the helmet, the way the excavator was scooping the soil, the way it was put in on the truck, loading, the way the tippers were moving, the way that supervisor was commanding and doing those stuff. I was very mesmerized. And I asked my friends, what if in future I want to be to do this kind of work and become like this kind of a person? What course is that? Somebody just said civil engineering. So by the time we were going for our choosing of our career paths, at that time we were groping in the dark. There was no clear way of showing us what we needed to do to get the career that we wanted to. So it was more like just groping in the dark and trial and error. We didn't have role models who we could look at that time to guide us properly. So when it came to filling of those forms, we were just with friends. We were just looking at what our friends have filled. We could just check. You see some field doctors wanted to be doctors, others wanted to be pharmacists, others architects. But I remember that name civil. So I just see what is civil. So I just feel civil without knowing. So long story short, I was able to pass my exams that year. And by the way, that year our school was number 1 in the entire country. Starehe Boys, we are very proud of the school. And I was able to be called to do civil engineering at the University of Nairobi. So we started, that was around the 1996. We entered the civil block and we started the journey of the normal passage. And we were able to graduate. And after graduation, now we went into the job market to start our life as graduate engineers. Upon graduation, first of all, I got a chance to work with Knight Frank. Knight Frank, as you are all aware, is a property management firm, and it gave me quite some insight at that time. Then after that contract ended, that was around 2001, 2002, I started a construction company. Sometimes people believe that you need a lot of money to start some of these things. What I did first was I went to Sharia House and just had what is called a business name. I only paid 800 shillings. Then I did some cards. I remember my symbol was a hammer, a very big hammer. Coincidentally, that is the time I'd also encountered my walk with Jesus Christ. I'd started going to church. I became a staunch Christian, and I had a lot of faith. That time, I believed so much in that there is nothing that was impossible. In fact, that time, if you had told me that I walk on water, I would have walked on water or even on fire, because I had read the Bible and I had believed. And that is where I also came up with that mantra that as a man thinketh, so easy. So I believe that you can be whatever that you could be. And I believe that even despite not having quite a lot of resources, but with that passion, the zeal, the drive, I could still make it. So with those cards, I used to give to whoever that cared to listen. I used to walk with a briefcase, very well dressed, walking in town, my head, shoulder high, head high. And even despite not even having money sometimes, broke, busted and disgusted, but still I could feign a confident demeanor. I put on a good facade that I was doing fine. So, and that is where I even started this mantra. All those people who know me, every time they meet me and ask me, how am I doing? I always say, I'm doing fine, I have no problems, unless problems begin with that person who is greeting me. So, with that mindset, I was able I met one time a former schoolmate who was in Stare and he was running a children's home. I gave him my cards and he told me he's running a children's home. He just told me that in case he gets an opportunity, one day he'll get in touch with me. Oh, lo and behold, around 5 months later, he called me. He told me that there are some foreigners, I think they were Italians, who wanted to build classrooms, a school for his children's home. And he had thought if I had the requisite expertise and he had seen my company, if I was up to the task to be able to do that assignment. And of course, based on as I alluded earlier, the confidence that I had, I said, I'll be able to do it. So he told me to do the drawings that were there, to cost them. And long story short, I was able to get the contract. I remember when those Italians came, the last time I was going to sign that, to meet them, it was in Carnival. And I had only 100 bob. So we went to Carnival and they interrogated me. We looked at the BOQs. And funny enough, I believe they gave me 10% down payments in dollars. Yeah. To start off the project. I think the project was around 8 million. So you can imagine, they gave me, in fact, it was like $1 million at that time. So I was able to, first of all, my life just changed from there. Even the exchange rate, because the exchange rate and what was to be on the ground was a different, it gave me some money. So I was able to do that job very well. It was like milestone-based work because they told me that I needed with that money, like it was an advance payment without a guarantee. It was just the good name of my friend and the trust that we had built, but also considering the school that I was in, that trust had always been there. We were well regimented. So that brotherly trust that I could not do monkey shines with that money, I was able to mobilize sufficiently, and then they were paying. They came, they saw that I'd done the work up to a certain level. They paid the other 20%. My life started just changing there. I recall when I was given the money in dollars, based on the fact that I used to talk big. I recall the first person I looked to was my father. I changed them into Kenyan shillings. and put in the briefcase, 1 million. I recall how my father reacted at that time when I showed him that, what were you saying? This is now, I told you I'll be a millionaire. So from there, he gave me the support also as a father. And I was able to finish that project. Towards the tail end, I was using the profits to live on and also do the work. So in around the year, NAC government came in around 2002. So after some time, there was some there were some job offers in the Public Service Commission, and I was able to apply. And that time, since I was just applying, and I was called for interview. And since that time, I'd already started doing this job, and I was not. So when I even went for the interview, I was very relaxed, and I was able to be called to the Ministry of Roads as an assistant engineer.